The people who actually get where they want to go, whether that's their fitness journey, their career, other parts of their life, learn to avoid burnout like it's the fucking plague. And I don't say that lightly, because burnout causes endless relapses on your old bad habits. It causes the biggest drops in self-belief that you will ever have. And I'm saying that not just from personal experience, but because it happens to everyone who tries to make progress in their life at some point or another. It happens to everyone. If it hasn't happened to you yet, it will. Okay? It will. But you can minimize it by doing the strategies I'm about to outline, by taking into account things that work and things that don't. You need to avoid this like it's life or fucking death. By the way, I'm just editing this. You have to watch the whole thing, otherwise none of it will work, none of it will make sense. I've just realized that from editing the whole thing. Trust me. Or you will regret it when you find yourself doing your old habits again, the ones you said you'd never touch again. Burnout breaks down into a couple of factors. The people who consistently achieve the goals that they set, like again and again and again, are rarely the people who just keep on taking on more work, more fitness, more exercise, more this, more that. You cannot keep on taking on more because you only have a limited amount of space in your mind, a limited amount of space for energy. You cannot just keep on adding things and expect to maintain mental calmness. It just doesn't work. And you might know what I'm talking about. The people who achieve their goals don't add more, they replace. For everything you add, something else has to be taken away. That can either be something you know is obviously holding you back, or it can be a low leverage task. Obviously, don't take away from the things you consider important to you, but you have to realize what is actually important to you to do that. But for every piece of hard work, exercise, work on your career, I don't care, anything, every single piece you add to your life, something else has to be taken away. That's only if you've reached a point where you feel like you're burning out. If you're just starting to make progress in your life, the chances are you could add a few things and still be fine, because you might not be doing much. And that's perfectly okay. But once you've reached this state where you feel like you're about to burn out, you feel like there's too much, for everything that you add, you have to take things away. It could be right now that you're just doing too much, so you just need to take things away without adding anything. That's factor one. You have limited energy and limited mental capacity. You can't stretch it. Obviously, you have to find out what that capacity is, which might be the reason you achieve your first burnout. But when you know that capacity, you have to drop it down a little bit and then replace things. Now, the second factor is the most common reason for burnout, and no one realizes when this is happening. It's to do with focus zones. Now, I like to imagine there being 3 levels of focus. One is completely switched off. You're not thinking about anything to do with progress, anything to do with fitness, work, your career, anything. You're just completely resting, maybe playing a board game, maybe watching a movie with your family, maybe talking with some friends, right? This is section 1. You're not thinking about anything productive. And the top section of the 3 is where you are completely switched on, just focused on doing one thing, one step at a time, but your mind is just completely in it. When I'm going for a workout, I'm not thinking about anything else apart from, okay, how can I bring as much to this next set as possible? This is section 3. The same when I'm working on my coaching, right? When I'm helping out my clients, the people who are actually making progress. I'm thinking, okay, how can I give as much value to my clients as I possibly can? And I'm completely focused in that state. Now, the bottom and the top zone are really fucking important. These are really key zones. The middle zone is where 90% of people find themselves. This is a state where you feel like you're doing a lot, but when you check to see how much you've actually done, it feels like nothing, but you've been working for hours. Maybe you go into the gym, you do a set, you scroll for 10 minutes, you do another set, you scroll for 10 minutes, right? You find yourself, you've been there for 2 hours, so you leave early. Same if you're working on your career, on your job. You do some work, you scroll a little bit. You do some work, you scroll a little bit. All of a sudden, you've been working for 6 hours and you check to see what you've done and you've only written 3 pages. This is where most people are. And what this does is it causes huge amounts of stress, this middle zone, because you feel like you're doing so much work, but you still have more to do because you didn't get done what you needed to get done. Let me take this shit off. It's fucking boiling in here. But you get hugely stressed because you feel like you've been trying to do productive things for hours and hours and hours. And when you don't have the results to show at the end of the period, guess what? You dig into your rest time. And so a good 6 hours of work, which you were supposed to do, turns into 10 hours of middle zone work. And then you're digging into your rest. Then what happens? Because you're not rested. Tomorrow, you cannot achieve this high state of focus because you haven't rested. And then you're straight back in the middle zone. Scrolling, do a bit of work. Scrolling, do a bit of work. Do a set in the gym, scroll. Do a set in the gym, scroll. And then you get more stressed because you haven't done what you wanted to do. And so again, it digs into your rest period. And then the cycle just keeps on fucking repeating. And I know because this has happened to me so many times. I've burned out like 50 times at this point, honestly. And that's not an exaggeration. I know so many other people who have felt this same problem before as well. You need to be either in completely switched off mode or completely focused mode. No in between. Either completely switched off, completely focused. But it's funny because you cannot achieve level 3 of being completely switched on unless you've had enough of level 1 completely switched off. So that's how people get in this cycle. And you can't achieve this level 1 of being completely switched off unless you've had good focused work and exercise where you've got everything you wanted to do done. Because if you didn't and you were in zone 2, you're more stressed. You cannot go into the rest zone because you still have more to do, and the cycle starts. It's simple, but it's not easy. It's simple for me to say this. It's harder for you to put this into execution. You'll get better as you try it, but you really need to either be in zone 3 or zone 1. Fuck zone 2. Avoid this shit like it's a fucking viral disease. There are countless studies to show that this state where you're completely switched off is one of the most important parts of your life. It raises your brain function. It lowers your stress level. It helps you recover from training faster. This state of level 1, completely switched off, is so fucking important. And I'm only giving this advice because burnout will come at you before you even realize it. You have to notice when this cycle starts, when you're just in zone 2, maybe you're doing something, then you have a scroll, you do something, then you have another scroll. This cycle starts and you don't even realize it. And then the burnout actually happens and you revert back to old habits because you feel like you're trying really hard but getting no results. You feel like you go into the gym and you do a bunch of work and you come home and you have nothing to show for it. Because your mind is not fully in it when you are actually doing it. If there's one lifestyle change you make in the next few weeks, focus on full rest and full focus, nothing in between. You will have the best fitness results, the best career results, and you will feel more energy than you felt in years. That's it for today. I'm about to hop on a bunch of mindset calls with my clients. By the way, go check me out on Instagram at CoachWillCave. If you thought this was high value, you haven't seen anything because I post this stuff every single day on my Instagram, in both Reels and my Instagram stories. So go and check that out. Also, for your protein, for your creatine, for your gym supplements, Applied Nutrition, code CoachWill. That's it.